Our clematis plants. Got some blooms on one of them. They're both doing pretty well. Our limelight tree. A couple of yellow flower or yellow leaves, but hopefully doing alright. And we've got all of our wildflowers growing. The hives are pretty slow this morning, but they're really compact around that one entrance. And these guys are sitting just humming away. It's pretty early in the morning here. Alright, hello everyone. So welcome back to the compound. We're out here at the apiary, and it's been a really warm few weeks. We've probably had in the high 80s to 90s for the last 3 weeks with like little to no rain. We've got our clematis vines along the north fence growing pretty well. Our limelight tree has got a few yellow leaves on it, but it's doing pretty well. There has been a lot of bloom all around us in many shapes and forms. So I expect to see quite a bit of progress from these hives today. I feel like it's going to be a pretty big day. It's June 25th, and this is pretty close to 2 months almost. Yesterday, when my father was out here, he took a look at the hives and he saw a lot of bearding. So I'll go ahead and show you that photo now. And I feel like we're gonna see a lot of progress today. I've got some simple syrup. A lot of the bees that you just saw are really collected around the hive. It's a little cool this morning. It's not cold, but it's cool this morning. It's probably in the low 60s. So I'm gonna go ahead and open these guys up and we'll go ahead and take a look. We're gonna start with the bee castle. I think it's gonna be time for a second brood box. I really think these guys are packed in here, so hopefully everything looks good. It should be easy to find our queen because we marked them last week. So let's go ahead and dive into this and take a look at what's going on. Okay, I would like to start off by saying that I see absolutely no ants. I put a little bit of cinnamon in the bottom of both of my storage boxes, and I haven't seen a single ant yet. You know, fingers crossed. I don't see any ants outside here. I really do think ground cinnamon sprinkled everywhere is the way to go. I try not to keep it too close to the hive, but as you know, I put a little bit of cinnamon in the White Castle, the little viewing board at the bottom. So without further ado, let's see where we're at. It's been about 8 days since we've opened the hive. I assume all the simple syrup is gone. Oh, geez. Oh yeah, we're packed. So nothing's going on with this top lid. I'll just go ahead and set it over to the side real quick. I do have the smoker ready, not lit, but ready. But wow, actually, so it's been about 8 days, and I'll go ahead and I'm gonna maybe need my tool for this, but I'm gonna take this top brood box off. Don't squish the bees. Alright. So I got this top brood box off right here. And they've only, you can see it from right there, they've only taken, you know, about half. You know, it wasn't filled to the top, so I would say they've only taken about half of the simple syrup. So I'm actually kind of surprised that they didn't take that much, because it's been a minute. Just remove it real quick right here, set it over here. Out of the way. Big moment right here. Let's see what we look like inside. There's a lot of bees. A lot. Pretty good feeling we're gonna add the second brood box today. Pretty excited about that. That would be a big step. Ooh. Yep. Hang on, bees. Wild ride. Okay, so they have built again some honeycomb on this, which I fully expected, but it's not that much. and you know, it happens, so that's cool. So we're going to go ahead and remove this in a little bit, but let's go ahead and take a look at these frames. Make sure we can again see the queen. I am going to remove the reducer because they just seem to be so many bees that it's just not enough room for all these bees to get out. So as I get some of these frames removed and out of here, we're going to go ahead and open up that as well. All right, so frame number 1. So let's see what we got. I can get it out of here. Best way to do it, I've been told. They're getting a little louder. Probably just woke them up. Come on. Wow, there's a lot of this. Again, I think it's called propolis. I should really look it up so I don't keep saying the wrong thing. But here we go, is frame 4. Very heavy. So you got all nectar on this side, and then it is fully drawn out, and they're starting to cap. That is all honey in there. It's all filled with honey. Again, probably mostly simple syrup. We've got one. Pretty sure that's a drone cell right there. You can see that white dot in the middle, kind of towards the top there. That's just a drone cell. It's just a bigger cell than the rest. But yeah, it looks good. So I'm gonna go ahead and set these guys back down. Six. Oh, I found her. Boom. So she's on number 6, which was the middle one. I set her outside the hive. I'm gonna remove this structure comb on the bottom here real quick and get her back in the hive. And I think I'm gonna do it today. I think I'm gonna add the second brood box. I think I'm gonna do that today. So in order to do that, I'm gonna do what's called pyramid. And in order to do that, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take 3 frames, probably 2 frames that are down below with the queen on it. So I'm gonna take probably 6 and 7. I'm probably gonna take 6, 7, and 8. Is that honeycomb on 4? That's all honey. So that's all honey on 4. So 4's got honey. 5 has... Oh. You didn't see that. Okay, so that is brood. Okay. So I'm gonna take 6, 7, and 8. Or I'm going to take, what am I going to take? I'm going to take 6, 7, and 8, and I'm going to move it up to the top. And then I'm going to leave the rest down below, and I'm going to fill it. So I'm going to take 6, 7, and 8, put it at the center at the top, and then below it I'm going to have 3 empty ones. And then I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, so I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are going to be empty, and then I'm going to have 9 and 10 on the bottom. And then up top I'm going to have empty ones all the way to 6. And so 6, 7, and 8 from the bottom are going to come to the top. And then 9 and 10 on the top are going to be blank. So I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to do. So I just took them all out. So I'm going to put them back in the second one. And I got my extra frames over there. So what's the best way to do this? I think I'm just going to take 6, 7, and 8. Put them right here, right outside the hive. So I'm putting the queen on the top. So are you still on number 6, Queen? I gotta find you again. I know you were on here. I'm gonna find you again real quick just to make sure. Yep, she's right there. I just saw her. So I'm gonna do 6. I'm gonna take 5, put 5 back. I'm gonna take 7. And this is kind of called pyramiding. There's 1,000 ways to do this. This is how I'm gonna do it for this time. And basically, there's going to be brood and honey, brood and a little bit of honey on the top, in the center, and then on the bottom, it's going to be, the center is going to be empty and blank, and the sides on the bottom are going to have the larger stores of honey and some capped brood. So 6, 7, and 8 are on the outside, which will be the top. I've got more frames going in. Okay, just trying to organize it all here. Again, the queen's going on the top. Okay, so I'm going to reorganize these guys. So this hive is a little one-sided, and that's okay. I'm going to say it's okay. Maybe it's the worst thing in the world, but I'm going to say it's okay. So we've got 2 new frames, or 3 new frames going to go in on the bottom. So I'm going to put number 2 back. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the bottom. And then I've got a blank one. Or then I've got 3 blank ones, the 6, 7, and 8 replacements. And you know what else I didn't mention, but they do have, they have eaten all their pollen patty, so I am gonna give them another little square. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3 blanks, 9 and 10 on the bottom, and then on the top we've got blank, 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 which are the 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then 9 and 10. So that will go up top, and I'm gonna put the pollen patty on the bottom. I'm gonna grab that real quick. Just like the simple syrup. If they didn't need it, they won't take it. Last week they took a whole jar. This week they didn't take barely any. So I'm gonna take my top brood box, set it right on top, and remember the queen is in the top. It's getting tall. It's getting tall. And then I've got, now what do I need? Oh, I need to remove that. So now I have our top frame right here. All snug as a bee in a hive. Okay, let's close this up. So yesterday morning we filmed the bee castle. We added the second brood box, and today we're gonna check out the white painted hive. I just didn't have time yesterday. We had a doctor's appointment for our new baby girl Alice. So I'm gonna hop on into the white painted hive and we'll check them out and see how they're doing, and if they've got 80% of it filled, maybe we'll even add a super today. I'm a little doubtful of that, but we'll see how it is. I do see one ant that I just killed and brushed off. I don't really see any others. The cinnamon's been working really well. I've only put it on around the perimeter once, and then I put it around the perimeter of each of the cinder blocks, and then I did put some on the board catcher on the bottom of the white painted hive, just because a lot of the simple syrup and honey stuck to that, and there was larvae from the ants. There was larvae from the ants being hatched and laid. So we'll go ahead and hop on in. I'm gonna get suited up here and take the strap off, get my gear out, and we'll go ahead and get going. They are pretty calm. There's no bees flying in and out. There's like one or two, but nothing like you'd see in the heat of the day. So they are pretty calm and pretty docile. I did order a mouse guard for the bee castle. We did take out that extruder. As you guys saw earlier in the video, that picture of them bearding around. They didn't beard the next day, or they didn't beard all day that day after I took that little bee reducer out of the front entrance. So once we get that mouse guard, we'll add it to the bee castle, same as the one as the white painted hive. I will show you, it did get hot again yesterday. That comb I took off, it did melt right on the frame that I had put it on, so that's kind of funny. It did melt right there, so it's all just beeswax in here. So not really going to do anything about it. If I do put the super on today, I'll add that one in and they can move the wax in any way, shape, or form that they'd like. But probably won't leave the comb out in a black box from here on out. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust the camera, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Alright, so move the lid here. Jeez. This is always really hard. Probably easier to go like this. One or two bees in the lid. Alright, so they've taken all the simple syrup, which I kind of figured they would have. Just gonna slowly remove these guys. Set them off to the side, and then I'll switch it out. I got a brand new jar of simple syrup. Okay, so remove the lid here. Little separator. Get my hive tool out. Okay. Oh, good news. No structure comb. No honeycomb on the lid, none on the top, so that is good. So they haven't been building up, which is really what we want. They are still eating the pollen patty, so this one isn't gone, but there's still a little left. We've got nothing on frame 1, nothing on frame 2. I'm just gonna slide frame 2 over a bit if I can, and then we'll get to 3 and remove 3. Pull number 4 out. Alright, so I've got, you can see that capped honey on the top right. The rest is filled with either honey, but there's a lot of eggs on this frame, and they've started drawing out on the back of 4 as well. a lot of eggs and a lot of honey on these two. I'm just looking for the queen, and the queen's right there in the top corner, got the green dot on it. Boom, that was easy. So the queen is alive and well. She's on number 4. I'm gonna set her right back down. Perfect. Ever so gently, there's beats. Oh. Ever so gently, bang. So this is probably why I am gonna get the I'm gonna get the smoke going. These are a little testy. I just opened up the frame where the queen is on, so I'm gonna fill my smoker right quick. Light her up. And just put a little smoke in the air. Oop, yep, still going. Just put a little smoke in the air. Get them to calm down. They've already kind of calmed down once I set their queen down. Alright, so let's take a quick inspection of the rest, but it's all looking pretty good so far. So I got my hive tool right now. So they were probably just really loud because I just picked up the frame with the queen bee on it. Jeez, this is a heavy one. Alright. So this is number 5. And we've got eggs, brood, some capped honey. On this side looks really well. The honey's actually pretty far out excluded. The brood doesn't really come out that far from the frame. And on the back, it's full of larvae. You can kind of see there. And they're probably going to start capping because there's a lot of very big larvae on the back here. But that's a full frame. Let's set this one back down. Gotta get gentler at this. Come on, bees. Way more active. Now, give them a little more smoke. Did I get out? Oh, it did blow out on me. Just to calm them down. There we go, that's good smoke. And again, I'm not using the pellets. I was using the pellets and myself and my boy were coughing while we were using the pellets, so not going to use them on the bees. If I'm coughing with them, we're not going to use them on the bees. The pine needles work just fine. Take out number 6 here. Ooh, these guys are going at it. Alright. So another full of brood. Wow. Full of brood, ready to hatch. Full of brood, ready to hatch on both sides. Wow, this looks like it's all brood. It all looks really, really good. Okay. Oh, come on, bees. Let me put this frame back. Trying to do it ever so gently. But they are just round this top right here. It's hard to get my fingers on it because there's 15 bees pushing on one side. Alright, number 7. I am really happy with the fact that there's not a bunch of comb or structure comb and honeycomb outside the frame. So I'm glad with that. Oh wow, this is some dark honey. So again, full of eggs, full of larvae, not so much capped brood. There is dark honey on either of the top corners, but it is really dark too. See if I can't show you guys that. Right in that top corner right there, it's really, really dark, but it is capped honey. So this hive is gonna explode in the next 2 weeks here. Set them guys back in. Man, it's hard to be gentle when they all want to be right where you want to grab. Get these guys moving off the top here. These guys are very active now. They were really calm. Now they're really active. Trying to be as gentle as I can. Don't want to hurt any bees. Alright, wow, that's tough. They've definitely got these frames glued down. Come on. There we go. There we go. Alright, that should be easier. Yeah, way different. I'm curious if it's because I just tapped the... I'm curious if it's because I tapped the frame with the queen on it. So, again, just a fully capped frame on both sides. Oops, sorry. Fully capped frame on both sides. Looks really good. Honey around the top corners and bottom corners. All looks really good. I'm trying to be quick because they're agitated. And I don't want to upset them anymore. Then I have to. Alright, number 9. Oops. Come on. Hard to grip, hard to grip. Okay. Alright, number 9. So again, fully drawn out. Full of eggs on, so on the bottom 3 inches it's full of eggs, the next 3 inches up in the middle is full of brood, and then the top 3 inches full of capped honey. It all looks really, really good. And then on the back, you got honey on the top left corner over here, and then the rest of that comb is filled with eggs. And they're not 100% fully drawn out, probably about 70%. But there will be, excuse me, bees in the next 2 weeks. So there is definitely one right at my face right there, if you can see him. I see his butt trying to stick me. Oh man, come on, bees. There's definitely a couple of them trying to stick me. And I'm trying not to squish any, and I have squished 1 or 2 already, and that might be why they're a little bit angry. Oops. But they're doing really good. Last one here, frame number 10. And they all want to be on my hands, so every time it's really hard actually, because every time I close my hands, you know, just see, look, there's another one right there on my hand, just crawling around. So every time I try to grip, they go right where I'm I'm trying to pinch at. All right, so 10 does feel a lot lighter. They've only started on the back. There's a few eggs on here. Probably about half that comb that you see is full of eggs, and there's a little bit of honey on the top. But they're probably, I would say, about 50% done with this one side. All right, bees. All right, I'll get you all back in. Calming down, calming down. All right. So I'm closing these guys up. So because 1, 2, and 3 aren't really drawn out, and 10 isn't really there yet, I would say they're about, 65, 70% drawn out. Not so much 80. And I kind of want to wait for 80. Whoop. Kind of want to wait for 80. Calm down, guys. Trying to close you up. Calm down. I'm going to wait for 80% because that's, I guess, what's recommended. To wait for 80%. Man, I can't close it if you guys are all there. Skedaddle. Okay, so white painted hive. Everything looks fine. It was nice to see that there was no structure or honeycomb between the top of the frames and the top of their lid. They did have all their simple syrup. There was plenty of pollen patty left. I saw no ants, no ticks, no mites. The first frame I picked up, which was number 4, full of eggs. The queen was on that. And then when I set them down, there's a little lip about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 1/4 of an inch, and it just dropped that little section, just a little tap, and the queen was on that one. And because I did that, I think I really agitated them. The other thing that I think that agitated them is on the white painted hive, they like to enter in through the middle of the hive. So I'll try to show you real quick. They like to enter in through right here, not down here. Because they're entering in through that, that's exactly where I need to like grip onto them so they can, so I can pull the frames out. So it's kind of hard to grip them. They were very agitated right from the start, and I think it was because I kind of jerked to that queen bee. And they're obviously calm now. There's no bees out flying right now. They're not even coming out. It's still a little cool. I'm kind of curious, and I'm kind of thinking now that maybe I should cover up that top hole so they start going through the bottom, and maybe that'll be easier and better. I'll ponder that a little bit. The reason I don't want to do that is because when I put a super on, it'll be at the bottom of the frame, so they'll come right in at the top of the brood box and the bottom of the super if I add that on. I do believe next weekend we'll be able to add on our first super, so that'll be good. So this week we put on our first brood box, and next week we're going to put on our first super, and hopefully all goes well and they just kick butt making comb. Because they're making a bunch of comb, I'm still feeding them. I'm still giving them simple syrup. If they go through the jar in 2 to 3 days, they're not going to get any again until the weekend. So I give them that quart jar every weekend. I give them a new jar, whether they're half full or not. Again, the Bee Castle hive, they only used half of it. For the white painted hive, they had a full jar and they used it all. So I replaced them both with 2 full quarts. and I'll continue to do that while they're making comb. When I put the super on the white painted hive, I'm probably going to think about starting to reduce it, but I want them to start building and making comb first. Once they start making comb in the super, I might take it away. And then the brood box, they've got a lot of comb to make for their second set of frames in the brood box. So I'll probably keep feeding them simple syrup, and we'll just see how it goes. Both of them have plenty of honey to last off of, but during this phase of building all of this comb and on all of these frames, this is probably the hardest they'll ever have to work, because they're starting from scratch, and I really want them to have everything they need. There's plenty of flowers all over the compound. Next door, everything's blooming like mad. It is the middle of June, so we should be having a dearth right now, but again, I can't really tell that because we're not harvesting any honey. But normally at the end of June to the beginning of August, throughout the whole month of July, is typically the dearth. But there's so many trees on the property that have full bloom, and there's a lot of flowers, and we've got our little patch of flowers right here that are blooming. We've got little white flowers right now, and hopefully throughout July different flowers will start to bloom, and we'll be good with that. So thank you again so much for watching. We'll see you again next week, and hope you guys are learning something. Please subscribe, make comments. Any questions can help our channel out. We'd like to get more subscribers and viewers. I apologize for being a little bit slow at the end of June, but we did have our new baby Alice Oakley join the family today. So stay tuned. I'll show you guys a picture of her. If I hadn't in the last video, I'll show you it in this video. See how cute the baby is. And we'll go from there, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much.